Hey yo, I am the star in any room that I stand in. I am the standout, you just my stand-in. These bitches copy my homework, that's what they hand in. That's why I'm private like the airports I land in. Life is a beach house, don't let the sand in. I ball in any arena, go let the fans in.
When I first made this video, way too many people were in my comments saying Bad Bunny doesn't really have Afro textured hair, it's just blow dried. Then what is this? What is that? That's just blow dried? No. That's his natural hair texture. He takes off the wig and his hair is matted down, kind of how mine is right now because I had a hat on, and it's Afro textured. If it was straight, or if it was a really loose curl, it would be even straighter after having a hat on. And here he is with waves because he wore a do-rag because his hair is Afro textured and he can do that. This disbelief that someone as light as Bad Bunny can have Afro-textured hair all ties into colorism, because this idea that they don't have the full light skin package, the straight hair, the light skin, the Afro part just throws people off. Even Jules said she has pelo malo. And Nina Simone said people expect her to have loose curls because she's light skinned. It's 2025. Can we stop assuming skin color determines hair texture?
What's up, y'all? I hope all is well. So I just wanted to do this video about mass gaslighting and psychological abuse of light-skinned and biracial people on TikTok. Now this is a social media wide thing, but I want to talk about it specifically on TikTok because it's something about TikTok where I feel like TikTok just seems to give people like a creepy level of access to you. You know, TikTok is weird like that, but I would never say that like I was glad it's banned or anything like that, because that's really harmful to free speech. And I think that there's a lot of good that happens on TikTok, but I do think that TikTok is very harmful to light-skinned and biracial people psychologically. I feel like it's a lot of harmful like rhetoric over there, and like how they treat mixed people and everything. And like for anybody who watches my channel and is like be on TikTok and stuff, and I'm not saying like stop your creativity or like don't post your feelings or like ask questions or like, you know, engage with content on there, you know, just because you don't let people stop you or anything. I'm not saying that at all, but just be like mindful about what content you're consuming, what you're putting out there. You know, just definitely protect your mental health and like your peace just in general on the internet and anywhere, but definitely online, because I just feel like people on TikTok, stuff like that, it's a weird energy over there. It's something about it when it comes to like this topic specifically, and like us and how we're perceived on there and talked about. I feel like it's really toxic, and it's like I don't get those comments under my YouTube videos. Like the type of nastiness and like type of rhetoric and just weird shit I see on TikTok, I don't get that under my videos. I get weird comments, I get mentally ill people, you know, I get people like listening to be emotionally triggered and not listening to understand. You're gonna always get those people, but it's a different crowd on YouTube, even on Instagram. It's something about the energy on TikTok. So I wanted to do a response to this situation where this biracial girl was being dragged for asking people her hair type, and she like, I think she asked people if she had type 4 hair, and basically like they were just dragging and gaslighting her and saying like, oh, your hair is not type 4, it's 3A, And, you know, just like they were just going in on her, basically, like trying to tell her that her hair is not type 4, that is 3A. And the reason why it really fucking irritated me and bothered me is because we literally have the exact same hair type, and I know for a fact that her hair is type 4 because it's very cottony, and you can look at her hair, it's clearly type 4. They're literally just gaslighting this girl and just bullying her, and people can say, oh, that's not bullying, they're just, she acts and they're giving them her perspective and blah blah blah. No, it is gaslighting and it's bullying, because they're just intentionally being mean. Because if you don't agree, if you don't think that that's her hair type, or you don't agree, you could simply just not engage with her video. Why do you have to respond to it and everything when you clearly see that her hair is type 4? It's very cottony, it's very soft. You can tell it's very afro texture. So for them to be sitting up here talking about, oh, it's 3A, and it's like, y'all are just exposing how ignorant y'all are, because the only reason y'all are saying that it's 3A or whatever the fuck y'all are calling it is because she's biracial. And I've spoken about this a lot, where they have this weird fixation with feeling like all mixed people need to have 3A hair, needs to have this specific type of hair, which is really just a projection of their own internalized colorism and texturism that they projected onto everybody else. Because who said that all mixed people have that type of hair? And it's like, how they, and this is how weird and nonsensical they are. They are holding all mixed people accountable for texturism. Meanwhile, there's plenty of black people with 2 black parents that have type 3A hair and that have silky straight hair. My siblings, and I have many people in my family that's like that. So it's really fucking weird that y'all think that y'all want to hold all mixed and light-skinned people accountable for fucking texturism existing, and y'all want to make it seem like all of us have that hair texture. But at the same time, you'll see people in the flesh that don't have that hair texture, but you'll literally tell them, oh, you have that hair texture, when the only reason y'all telling them that they have that hair texture is because they're light skinned. And then you think that everybody is as slumped as you and is not catching on to the fact that that's what's going on. It's the same reason how they'll say, oh, Tyla's light skinned, she benefits from light skin privilege. Y'all only say that she's light skinned because you know she's mixed, and that's, I'm not the problematic one for pointing it out. You're the problematic one for making assumptions. Every mixed person is not light skinned, and every light skinned person is not mixed. Just like every light skinned person doesn't have type, A hair or very silky hair, silky straight hair, whatever the fuck it is. That's a projection y'all put onto us, and then y'all try to hold us accountable for fucking texturism that person may not even, in your opinion, even benefit from. They have the same hair type as you, but you think because they got a white mom or something, you automatically assume that they have a certain hair texture or that they think a certain way, and it's just weird. It's all projection. And that's what I'm saying. TikTok is not good for mixed and light-skinned people's mental health.
I'm getting a lot of comments like these, so I just wanted to address some of these rumors. I do not care if I have 3C hair. That doesn't bother me whatsoever. First of all, I think all hair types are beautiful, including 3C, including 4C. So I don't know why people keep commenting stuff like that, thinking it's gonna affect me. If this is 3C, cool. There's nothing wrong with 3C. Okay, bye. I've gotten comments like this recently so much, it's actually frightening. I'm gonna explain this one more time. For all the people telling me I'm trying to be part of the clique and I'm not cultured enough. I'm not trying to be black. I am black. I'm not trying to be white. I am white. 2 things can be true at once. I'm biracial. And I've seen a lot of discourse lately about Sofia Ricci. It's the same thing, you guys. It's 2020, about to be 2025. Can we please get it together? This is ridiculous.
And what I'm about to say is going to sound really harsh and kind of pessimistic, but I have to be honest with you. One of the main things mixed and light-skinned women need to stop doing on social media is trying to get black people to validate your lived experience or validate your self-identity. And I'm not saying every single person thinks like that, or every single person on social media is an adversary or doesn't agree or isn't empathetic. I'm not saying that at all. But at the same time, this whole taking to social media and confiding in them about how you feel about your 4C hair, and then asking people what they think about what texture your hair is, when you know good and damn well that your hair is type 4B and 4A. And I know, because like I said, I have the exact same hair texture, and I've told y'all that here online on my channel, that my hair is that texture. So yeah, so I don't understand why even take to the internet and even ask them anyways. And I'm not trying to victim blame, but I'm just saying, it's like, if you see other mixed and light people being dragged every single fucking day, why even engage with these people? Like, and granted, it seems like her video went viral like a month after she posted it. She posted it in like December, and it recently went viral, I guess, again. But yeah, it just seems like for the past like 3 or 4 months, they've been just dragging light-skinned women online about our type 4 hair. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, it's very triggering for me. Very triggering. Not triggering enough to actually make me react or do anything, but mentally it brings very exclusionary and negative thoughts to my head. Let me just say that. It does not bring thoughts of unity. Let me just say that. It brings thoughts of me isolating myself into my shell and becoming resentful, which I don't want to do, but that's how it makes me feel, honestly. And you know, I've talked to y'all about the experience I've had with my hair, with not only black people but Hispanic people also, because I also did grow up in the Hispanic community also, so that was a big part of my childhood, the whole hair shit. So I did go through texturism and racism, and even, you know, people are going to get triggered, but colorism, I even went through that shit growing up too. So, you know, I went through racial shit growing up as a child, and a lot of it has to do with my hair. A lot of it didn't even have to really do with my skin color or appearance. A lot of it had to do with my hair, because the thing about hair is that hair shows your ancestry. Hair shows what you are. Free hanging afro hair used to be considered very controversial, something very negative. Literally, I was just watching an Aaliyah J video, and she was talking about how she got bullied growing up because her mother was sick a lot and she couldn't do her hair, and people were bullying her. So it's like, you know, these are the experiences. You know, people are very emotionally attached to the whole hair thing amongst black and Hispanic people. So there's you know, there's real strong feelings there. People really have to deal with stuff, you know. When I'm in therapy, you know, I've went through, you know, my bouts of therapy and talking to people about things in my life and throughout life and stuff like that. So I'm not still like, you know, harping on it from when I was a kid, but I'm not going to pretend like that's not a real thing. So like, you know, I'm just going to be honest with you, to get on social media and see the same people who like mentally abuse you and talk shit to you and treated you funny about your hair as a child, to grow up and have these people now gaslighting you and making fun of your experience and talking shit to you about your hair under the guise of, oh, you have it easier because you benefit from texturism and colorism, when this person is literally sitting in front of your face with the same hair texture as you, but you so caught up in skin color and tone and things like that and preference and all this and other extra nonsense. You so lost in the sauce that you can't even see that there's a shared experience there. You just caught up on these other things and just trying to give this woman a hard time, because I'm really confused. What about her hair makes it not 4B? Because she literally says, I rarely ever see my hair type online. I still can't tell what it is, to be honest. I would call it 4B. I don't have coils or curls. It's just tight, frizzy waves. Please help. And I know exactly what she means, because I have this hair texture too. My hair is really weird. It's a strange hair texture, and I never see it around either. And the person that I can feel like the closest hair texture to me would be Blue Ivy. But that's just like from pictures and stuff. But I definitely feel her. So it's like, for people to get into her comment section, and like I said, it's clearly like puffy, it's clearly cottony, it's clearly afro textured hair. So I'm just like, wow, y'all have that much issues and resentment towards biracial women. Like, it's like, what the hell? Mind you, it's plenty of people of all skin tones that have type 3A hair or like slick hair and things like that. I don't understand why they use light-skinned people as the punching bag for type 3A hair, as if we all fucking have it, and then they want to get in your comment section and gaslight you when you clearly don't have it. I just find that shit to be, like I said, emotionally abusive. It would, because what's the reason for this? And I'm glad that she actually responded. She was like on her channel, on her page talking her shit. And then they over here like being like, oh, well, we need to see it wet and this and that. And it's like, don't be showing these people nothing. You don't have to explain shit to these people. You don't owe these people explanations. Like, and that's the other thing that blows my mind. They like to put a tree over a light-skinned woman's head and try to get you to jump high. You know what I mean? I feel like it gives them like some type of validation or something to see you trying to be like accepted or something when you don't even gotta do all that. Like, and another huge issue that I have with this situation, honestly, the core issue that I have with this situation, is that first, they will be texturous to you as a child, treat you funny, run around saying shit like a waste of light skin. Funny how they love to engage in this revisionist history and play dumb, like all of these terms like brown skin and a waste of light skin and all these other prejudice anti-black terms that they used to use. They like to play like these things never happened, and then they like to change it and everything and use 2018 Twitter language on everybody to gaslight, right? So that's what I find annoying. So first they be texturous to you as a child because of your hair texture. Then you get on TikTok and you showing your hair, and then because people have a stereotype about how light skin and mixed hair is supposed to show up in the world, then when you say, oh yeah, I have 4B, 4A hair, here's my experience, then they gaslight and say, oh no, you have 3C hair, you have 3A hair. First of all, y'all see how I keep fucking up the numbers and the letters? Because I don't use that shit. I don't really care that much. So they do all this projection. Now they're trying to hold you accountable for some texturism that they're projecting onto you for benefiting from, that you don't benefit from. And then isn't that colorist to assume that every light-skinned person or that most light-skinned people have that type of hair texture, which is not true either, which is where the colorism and the anti-blackness from the term a waste of light skin comes from. Let's take it all the way back around. Hello. But yeah, and so it's like, and that's what I find so interesting about all of these situations. But then they also want to make it seem like, oh, all light-skinned people have slick hair and benefit from texturism and have this quote-unquote good hair that y'all project onto us, which is not even true. And then it's like, it's not even true when a lot of light-skinned people do have type 4 hair. So it's like, even the people who have type 4 hair and quote-unquote according to y'all would not benefit from texturism, y'all still try to project benefiting from texturism onto us and antagonize us on the basis of that, or try to gaslight us and say that's what type of hair type we have for no reason. And it's just weird. I don't know if where I'm coming from makes sense, but it's just, to me, it's too many military mind games. It's too much. Yeah, it's too much playing with the mind for me. I don't like that. I don't think it's cool.
I'm sure you guys have seen this, but if not, let me catch you up to speed. There's a girl named Naomi on TikTok trying to figure out where her hair type is because she never sees people with her hair texture. She's trying to figure out if she has 4B. Even though in here she said that she doesn't have coils or curls, but she has wavy hair. So being that Google is free, I went ahead and took it upon myself to go ahead and Google this. You know, for everybody out there who may be confused, this is type 4 hair, okay? This is type 3 hair. Literal definition of having like type 4 hair is to have coily or curly hair. So if your hair doesn't fit either description, why would you possibly think that you have type 4 hair, period? And then to get mad at people because they're like, oh, you don't have type 4 hair. When they're telling her like you probably have like 3A hair or 3B hair. Like, to me it looked like she got 2C hair, but I don't know. I'm no guru, okay? But I just feel like personally, oh, my light died. I just feel like personally attacked. As someone with 4C hair, I feel like people get on this app and they play in our face all day long trying to, why does everybody want to have type 4 hair? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, there's other hair types. I don't know why the default is, oh my God, I have type 4 hair. No, you don't. There's other textures out there. And it just really pisses me off because type 4 hair is like very difficult, and for people to like be playing in our face like they got type 4 hair whole time is type 2, you pissing me off.
And then another gag that be really taking me out is that the loudest people talking about this shit usually be a bunch of bitches with wigs on. And it's like, I'm not even anti-wig or into shaming black women about wearing wigs and weave or anything like that, because I do it myself, and I think that that conversation is played out and corny, so that's not even the angle I'm coming from. But I'm just saying, like, what is this entitlement and this, like, idea of like entitlement of grandeur where you feel like you're like the moral superiority constantly over mixed and light skinned people, and the one and the person to be policing and talking about texturism and what is and what isn't type 4 hair. And it's like, meanwhile you running around with an Indian bitch's hair on your head. Like I'm just sick of it. Like, and I'm not saying I'm anti-wig or have an issue with it. Live your best life with your wigs on, but don't come antagonizing those of us who's actually putting in the emotional and physical work to wear our hair out and to talk about our hair journey on social media. Meanwhile, you running around with Baljeet's sister hair glued onto your head. Like, it's just a reality, and it's like, I'm over it. And it's like, nobody says this aside from like racist white people and prejudiced non-black people. Nobody ever says that, but it's like other black women never hold that point up either. And I'm not saying to do it in like a texturous or ignorant way, but it's like, that's a reality. Like, why is it that y'all think y'all have all this more superiority over light-skinned and biracial women when it comes to hair? Meanwhile, half of y'all run around with wigs on half the time. Like, who, it seems like we all in this boat together. We all going through this journey together. But yeah, I just noticed that because the video I just played, and yeah, you had her talking mad loud and she got on a wig, and it's like, again, I don't care, but it's like, let's see your hair. For all we know, how do we know you not running around with type 3A hair? Like, who made you the type 4 hair police? Like, it's just a lot of weird shit, and I'm only bringing up the wig thing because it's obvious projection. And I'm saying that as somebody who wears like my natural hair and I wear wigs at the same time. I notice there's a lot of weird psychological shit with the wigs and that black women don't want to talk about, and they're always trying to hide behind, oh, it's just vanity, oh, it's just a hairstyle, oh, well, you know, back in the 1600s, you know, we had to wear wraps on our head because in Louisiana white women were jealous, so I had to wear a wig today even though I live in Philadelphia. Like, you know, it's all these excuses. I find this shit to be highly offensive because it just speaks to this mentality where they think that simply because you're light skin or mixed that you haven't had to go through the mental or physical process of like loving your blackness, loving your hair, you know, developing self-esteem, you know, dealing with certain issues or experiences. They just assume and completely disqualify that aspect of things that light-skinned biracial women specifically go through. So even though they clearly haven't done that internal and emotional and spiritual work themselves because they running around with a wig on, which again, it's fine and everybody comes to that process on their own time. But for those of us that are actually trying to go through that process, actually doing that, actually living day to day, wearing our hair out, dealing with whatever, you know, social or physical repercussions, whether they be positive or negative, come from that. We're dealing with that in the flesh head on because we're wearing our hair, having these discussions online. Meanwhile, all you're doing is sitting around criticizing people. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying every single person who is commenting on this topic doesn't have their natural hair, because a lot of them do have their natural hair. But just respectfully, I feel like if you running around with a wig on, and if you got a wig on in your video, you're in no place to be talking about other women's type 4 hair and be trying to be a type 4 hair police. And I like this picture of her as a little girl because she looks just like me when I was little. Like, I used to look exactly like that and be wearing my hair like that too. And people would be so fucking pressed. Like, how you pressed about a little black girl wearing pigtails? Like, bro, I know the depths of anti-blackness that resides in black and Hispanic people because of having my hair natural in early 2000s. So they want to get on TikTok and play coy and make it seem like, oh, it's just the light-skinned people who cut up and act a fool and have color issues. No, it's all of y'all. All of y'all have color and hair texture issues. But she even had dreads and shit like that, and you can tell by her dreads that she has type 4 hair. So I just think it's so freaking ignorant that just because she's biracial, they're like gaslighting her and saying, oh, your hair is type 3, your hair is type 3, it's not type 4, and then trying to make it seem like she's disrespectful and crazy and delusional for saying her hair is type 4. What's wrong with being biracial with having type 4 hair? I don't know. That sounds texture is almost no, y'all just feel some type of way because she is biracial with type 4 hair, because y'all feel some type of way towards biracial people perpetually for everything. But yeah, so that shit really blew minds, especially coming off the back of this whole situation of them dragging the light skinned black woman for her 4C hair. Like I said, these are very triggering topics for me because it just boggles my mind that you could rationalize dragging somebody because they made a comment about their own hair. like how is that any of your business? How are you pressed about that? How is that a slight against you? Like I will never understand that shit. And it just shows like I said, to me, I'm getting a little sleepy. Yeah, I just feel like it is psychologically abusive because especially when it comes to the situation with the light skinned black woman, and her 4C hair, because she was trying to be vulnerable and like talk about her lived experience and stuff like that, and they just dragged her and like made it seem like she was wrong for talking about the stuff she's been through. And it's like, clearly I'm gonna be triggered about that because I've done the same thing, even though like my face is not attached to it. But like I said before, like this is why like I actually have tried to talk about these topics on my personal Instagram page and like on my social media and stuff. And yeah, people dragged me and tried to gaslight me, and it was even other light skinned people. So it's like you get no allyship, nobody supports you. You could literally be talking about, you know, anti-blackness you dealt with from Latin people, and then this literally happened to me before. One time when they was dragging Cardi B, talking about she's a white girl and that she's lying about being Afro Latina. So I was talking about a situation I went through. This bitch gonna swipe up and try to talk to me about colorism and stuff. Like, girl, how I'm telling you about racist experiences I had, and you trying to tell me about colorism? Did you even ask me if maybe I've had an experience with colorism? Maybe I've witnessed it, seen it in my head, in my household. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't even ask me that, but you think that just because you look different than me, that you automatically the authority or something, and that my experience or that my worldview is automatically invalid, and that's mad prejudice, and I hate that shit. Like, and then y'all have the audacity to get on the internet and try to make it seem like light skinned people are so bad, and we just so close minded, and we always trying to police and talk shit about each other people. Mind you, y'all get on the internet, put out all these stories, all these situations and rumors about light-skinned people's ideology and mentality and shit we may or may not have even said. No receipts, no videos, just a bunch of videos of random brown skin chicks from Love and Hip Hop that y'all try to pass off as light skin, and then y'all try to hold it up and say light skin women feel that way. Since when was this last time a light skin chick went viral for saying some crazy shit? Who? Erica Mena, who was being provoked? Like, and I don't even condone what she said, but it's like, bro, y'all will continuously provoke light-skinned women, continuously talk about us, drag us for the most minuscule things on social media all the time, 24/7 on social media. Then the minute a bitch claps back, whether she's brown skin or Afro Latina or not or whatever, then all of a sudden, then y'all crying boo-boo tears and holding it up and being like, oh my gosh, look how they act. Oh my gosh, they're so mean. Why are they think that they're better? And it's like, it's the typical, like, and I'm not saying that every single person in the black community is narcissistic. I'm not diagnosing everybody, but culturally, the black community operates very narcissistically, and they do that flying monkey shit. I'm not qualified to talk about it, but if you know, you know, where they send people after people, they pile on them. Mind you, it's only fucking women. They only ever attack biracial and light-skinned black women. I never see them dragging men. Now, okay, they might drag a man here and there, talk a little shit in his comment section, whoop-de-whoop, cut up, but it's never to the same extent that they do to light-skinned black women. It's never to the same extent, and because they have an issue with black women just in general, and they try to hide behind the whole light-skinned and biracial thing, where really it's just an excuse for them to talk shit. They spent the first 15 years of the internet talking shit about dark-skinned women and trying to bash them. Now it's light-skinned women's turn. They have an issue with women, and light-skinned women are not doing anything wrong by posting hair videos and being vulnerable about our hair on social media. And I'm not saying this to be mean, but like, girl, seriously, get a therapist, because there's a reason why I don't get on social media and talk about my well, I mean, I do, but you get what I mean. Like, I'm doing it in a hidden way, and I didn't want to do this. I actually, when I first got on here, I did have my Instagram up. If you've been watching me for a long time, you know I used to have my face and my intro and everything. Like, I tried to do that, and then people in my real life, they started acting funny towards me. They started they started treating me different. I noticed a lot of black women started acting real funny towards me, and so I had to think. I'm like, do I want to sacrifice my social life and being around other women from my culture, simply for this topic? Unfortunately, no, because I can't do that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to isolate myself for something that's happening on the internet. So I had to figure out a way to protect my peace and my social life, but be able to do this work at the same time, because this is important for me. And up until recently, I wasn't being compensated for it or anything. So, I was putting a lot of time into this, and I had to really make a decision, like, this is really causing issues in my personal life. And I'm only making this point because, like, it's not safe for you to talk about these topics. It's not safe for you to be vulnerable about how you feel about talking about your blackness or your hair. And it's like these TikTok draggings and, pile on sessions that they only do to women. And it's so funny how at the same time, y'all are dragging a light-skinned black woman for being vulnerable about her type 4 hair. Any other time, if she was any other skin tone, y'all would be praising her and singing nothing but praises, talking about yes queen and encouraging her and all this type of stuff. But simply because y'all have this weird intolerance at the moment for light-skinned black women and biracial women, y'all drag her. Mind y'all, at the same time, y'all up here dragging a light-skinned nigga with green eyes. Mind you, if he was Arania Pierre, y'all will be calling her a basic light skin, talking about she's erasing people, probably dragging the fuck out of her, saying she's boring and got no personality. You know what I mean? It's just like, bro, y'all have an issue with women. Like, and you can continue to hide it behind light skinnedness and biracialness and all this extra shit. But no, y'all have an issue with women of African descent. I already see it. I already know what it is. But yeah, they it's insane to me that they were really dragging this woman simply for asking if she has type 4B hair, and like trolling her and like being mad at her for saying that she does. It's very bizarre. It's very weird to me. I don't get it.
Here's your annual reminder that the hair typing system is unscientific and 4C did not even exist when it was made in the 90s. Recap time. This is Oprah with her longtime hairstylist Andre Walker, who created the hair typing system in the 90s, when it was originally made just to sell Andre Walker's line of products. To the left, you can see the different hair types, and to the right, you can see the products recommended for this specific type. Notice the lack of 4C. He also talks about it in his book. There are two subtypes of type 4 hair, type 4A, tightly coiled hair that when stretched has an S pattern, much like curly hair, and type 4B, which has a Z pattern, less of a defined curl pattern. That's it. Everything past the ringlet curls are lumped into those two categories. And because this classification is so subjective and unscientific, it just further fueled the texturist arguments about hair type. When in reality, we can all have multiple different hair types, and there's no universally way of classifying what's considered a hair type. So please, let's stop arguing over something that was mainly meant to support a marketing campaign.
And then the other thing that I found hysterical was that they're trying to hold the hair typing system over this biracial woman's head. Meanwhile, the hair typing system was created by a biracial man. Like, and that's something I do hear a lot, where they're like the hair typing system is racist and it puts 4C hair at the bottom and this and that, and it pedestalizes certain hair textures. And it's like, bro, again, this is more projection onto the situation. Just like, yeah, it's just clear projection. But I thought that was really funny how they're trying to tell this biracial woman that she don't have type 4 hair. Meanwhile, according to the according to the hair typing system created by a biracial man, she does have type 4 hair. But I just found that hilarious that it's like y'all are so emotionally attached to this hair typing system that was created by a mixed person whom you also use the hair typing system to antagonize. Like, I don't think it's anything inherently bad about pointing out that certain hair textures take to product differently or react to something differently. That's just the reality, and that's the fact. I think that a lot of y'all need to be honest about the fact that anytime mixed and light-skinned people point out something about ourselves, y'all take it as a personal slight because you think that us inherently pointing us pointing out something about ourselves that's different, y'all think we're inherently doing it to try to one up you or try to upstage you or try to separate ourselves, when that's just simply who we are. We cannot run around pretending like we are not who we are to make you feel comfortable. And that's another huge issue I have. Like, if we're not willing to downplay or gaslight ourselves about who we are, how we look, or our hair type or skin tone or whatever, if we're not willing to do that, then they make it their mission to gaslight us about it and try to convince us that what we see with our eyes and what we know is not true. Meanwhile, they can get online and proclaim anything about themselves, make any point, freely make any comment about themselves and any other group of people, and people just support them and uphold their rights of free speech. But if you're mixed and light skin, that same courtesy is not held, is not held is not held in the same way. And I just think it's really funny how, I'm in the process of making a video about the Amada and Flo situation. And it's just like, it's really interesting to me that woman gets to run around freely pretending to be light skinned. Meanwhile, people are not really giving her a hard time about that. Not saying she should be bullied or talk negatively about that, but it's like, it's really interesting to me that y'all are letting this woman pretend to be light skinned. Meanwhile, y'all are constantly gaslighting light skinned Keisha and Miss Mulatto and all these other light skinned women. For whatever reason, y'all find reasons to gaslight us and to try to diminish our self perception. It is what it is. And I'm just saying, like, we could do these petty games. If y'all want to do this petty shit towards light-skinned and biracial women, I could be petty right back. Because y'all just not about to convince me that woman Flo is light-skinned, but light-skinned Keisha is brown-skinned. Why is it that y'all only know what a brown-skinned person is when it's time to gaslight actual light-skinned people? Like, it's just the reality. It's like, it's not me being mean, it's me being honest. Like, that's what I'm saying. Why is it that you get to gaslight us constantly and play in our face constantly, but when we speak facts, now all of a sudden it's gaslighting, gatekeeping, and girl bossing and bullying? Like y'all can't even get y'all lies in order. You can't even get your gaslighty ass talking points straight. You can't get your logic on the same accord. It's like, y'all are so used to light-skinned people catering to your feelings and not speaking honestly about this that you can handle it. But that's a real thing. I just found that to be insane. It's like, we're constantly being gaslit about the reality of having type 4 hair or being a light-skinned Keisha. We're being gaslit about that. And then it's also weird how y'all have this hyper controlling mentality towards the entire black community. And a lot of y'all will say you don't even have type 2A hair or anything, yet you're positioning yourself like the gatekeepers of type 2A hair and determining who has and who does not have it, trying to position yourselves as the gatekeepers of type 4 hair. But it's interesting because y'all can gatekeep, gaslight, girl boss all these hair textures and run around policing and telling everybody else what they have and what they don't have. But actual light skin and mixed people, we can't be the polices and the determiners of who's light skin or who's mixed or who has type 3A hair, even though y'all make it seem like we have ownership of it. It's very interesting. Like, this controlling mentality is another huge issue I have, and what I find very interesting. And like, this whole thing of like, feeling like you have the authority to determine certain stuff, but light skinned and mixed people are just subordinates that have to follow behind whatever you say, is problematic and weak. And the reason why I'm bringing this aspect of the conversation up and why it frustrates me is not because I hold these two aspects of phenotype in high regard and think there's some type of status that needs to be protected. The reason why I bring this up is because you cannot say that you genuinely are trying to have a colorism and texturism conversation and then use these intellectual disarguments at the same time. That to me shows that much of this really isn't about having a genuine colorism and texturism conversation and trying to make progress as Black women and as women of African descent. This conversation is clearly not about that. This is clearly about being antagonistic towards and gaslighting light-skinned and mixed people, because you're using intellectually dishonest conversations or talking points. If you look at this woman's type 4 hair and say, oh no, it's 3C, then why are you simultaneously crying and complaining that like, oh, type 4 hair gets so much discrimination and we put these other hair textures on a pedestal and, good hair and blah, blah, blah. Yet when you see actual type 4 hair, now you're trying to gaslight. Well, then there is no texturism then. What hair texture is being pedestalized then if that's the type 3C hair? Like, and mind you, she's showing a picture of the type 3 hair. It don't look nothing like the girl in the, like Naomi's hair texture. So it's clearly this is about gaslighting. This has nothing to do with texturism. And we know it has nothing to do with texturism because you're not even doing any real work to combat that by running around with a wig on. You know what I mean? So it comes off as phony to me. And it's the same thing with the whole light skin versus brown skin versus dark skin discussion. If you're gonna say that light skin Keisha is not light skin, then we shouldn't be hearing nothing about no light skin privilege and erasure and all this extra shit. If light skin Keisha is light skin, is brown skin, and you guys can't understand why she calls herself light skin or anything, well then why are we having a conversation about colorism then? If she's the same skin color as the vast majority of black people, then why are we having a conversation about light skin privilege then? Like, that's why I don't even believe in light skin privilege, because like they'll say that obvious high yellow women like light skin Keisha are not light skin, but because they've been presented with an opportunity to bash light skin women, then they'll say Flo from Love and Hip Hop is light skin. How is Flo from Love and Hip Hop light skin but not light skin Keisha? Like, the logic never makes any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And again, I don't even care if you consider her to be light skin or not. I consider her to be brown skin, but I'm just saying it's really funny that people were antagonizing and bullying light skin Keisha for damn near 3 years straight for calling herself light skin. But now Flo has somehow become the representative of how most light-skinned women think and treat dark-skinned women. Like, that's ridiculous. No, this is really just about whoever you want to antagonize at the moment. And then they try to make it seem like somebody's problematic for saying that brown skin is a thing, but then they want to look at light-skinned Keisha and say, oh, you're not even light-skinned. Okay, if she's not even light-skinned, then we shouldn't be hearing nothing about colorism. Just like if this woman, Naomi, does not have type 4 hair and she actually has 3C hair, which is interesting because that's not the only type of type 3 hair that there is. But anyway, if this woman actually has hair like that and she doesn't have type 4 hair, like y'all are trying to gaslight her into believing, then why did y'all used to run around saying stuff like, oh, this person is a waste of light skin and other ignorant shit like that? Like, why were comments like that ever a thing if light skinned women having type 4 hair is not a common occurrence? Like, I don't get what that's about. And it's not cool to diminish the texturism and anti-blackness light-skinned people with type 4 hair might have experienced or whatever, just because you assume that we all have loose type 3C hair. Like, that's just it's just silly. But yeah, they always end up putting their own foot in their mouth in these discussions when they think that they're giving light-skinned and mixed women a hard time, trying to gaslight the fuck out of us, when really not only are they exposing themselves, but they're putting their foot in their own mouth. And it's just like, I really hate these TikTokian colorism and texturism conversations. I just feel like they're a bunch of like high schoolers and emotionally immature adults just arguing with each other and going back and forth and like just gaslighting. Like, so apparently now brown skins don't exist and light skinned people can't have type 4 hair. Like, it's just all of these weird narratives, all of these weird ideologies that I just can't get with. And it's like, either y'all are just very underexposed, or you're just young, or you're just not using a lot of critical thinking. I think it's a mixture of all three from different groups. But that's something I've definitely noticed now. Like, so the climate is now like, what, light-skinned women cannot have type 4 hair now? Like, because they're literally gaslighting this Dominican woman. I posted her a long time ago before as well, talking about she doesn't even have type 4 hair. And it's like, I don't give a fuck about what these people consider type 4 hair. I don't need these people's validations. That's why I'm saying y'all need to get a therapist. I'm not saying y'all are wrong for posting your hair. I'm just being honest. Yeah, because they're not your friends, and anything you say, they will take it and try to try to make fun of you about it and try to like pervert it in a way, and it's just not worth it. And it's like, to protect your peace and your mental health, like, just talk about it with safe people in your life, your friends, other mixed women that you know personally, maybe a small internet community, even spaces like this online, different channels, try to make friends, but like safe women that you meet in spaces like this, stuff like that. Join groups and things. Like, I would say just do it in a safe way, just to protect your peace. Like, even going back to like my personal life, like, I don't talk about these topics with most people. I only talk about these topics with select people in my life. Like, even when I talk about my cousin that I talk about, that I mention often, like, I can have like certain like colorism or like light skin discussions with her, but even there I know like I have to cut it off at a certain point. I have to like candy coat certain stuff. You know what I mean? Like, certain people I can talk about like being mixed or like Afro Latinos and stuff like that with, but I know at a certain point I can't take it too far because I know like they're gonna get uncomfortable or something like that, which I respect. But I'm just saying, have these conversations in a safe space that you're like protecting your peace and you're not like making yourself vulnerable to people who don't care about you and don't mean you well, and they just want to gaslight you and talk negatively about you. And also, like, it doesn't matter what these people think at all. I know that that's a given, but it's like, yeah, you really just gotta ignore these people because they really just want to give light skinned people a hard time, and they feel like we've gotten unearned sympathy or unearned easy times in life. Meanwhile, they don't even know what niggas have been through. They don't even know people's lives or the shit or the place people come from. So it's just like whatever. But yeah, y'all get into the comment section, tell me what y'all thought about this video and about this topic. Have you observed this on TikTok as well, and what do you think about the way a lot of mixed and light skinned women are psychologically abused on TikTok? Thanks for all the support. Bye bye. Peace.